Hello, this is Table for Four. We're going to be discussing Dead Rising today. Your hosts will be Brandon.
Connor.
Matthew.
And Gavin.
Gavin's joining us from his home today.
Yeah.
He couldn't be here.
Well, I mean, it's still a table.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting ready to go back to school next Tuesday. It's going to be fun.
So early.
Table stretches all the way to his house, but no one else is allowed to sit.
It's still a table for four.
Soon it'll be a completely digital table with no physical members. So,
I think we're all still physical. Just
Yeah,
in different ways.
it stops us being physical. The table's less physical.
I suppose maybe.
We're all seated at a digital table.
Oh, man.
I mean, unfortunately, though, we're probably not going to be able to put out another video after this for 2 weeks because I'm
At
going
least.
through a week of training and then
Yeah.
a week of training others, ROTC.
That's a thing.
Alright.
Well, we'll be fine.
Yeah, we will.
But
You
on
know,
to
our
the game.
dedicated followers will definitely support us.
It's time for
So
Dead
many
Rising.
people. The games we'll be going over today are Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 2 Case 0, and Dead Rising 3. Starting with Dead Rising 1, we follow the adventure, I guess, of Frank West, who is a journalist, and he's flying in illegally to the Willamette Parkview Mall so he can get on-the-scene coverage of the first zombie outbreak that's public.
Can we talk about how stupid that is?
It is
Wait.
pretty stupid. He pays a random helicopter pilot to hover over the military and get into the Parkview Mall.
It's pretty dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
You'd have to pay me to do that, and I still wouldn't.
I don't know enough about this game. I don't
It's
know.
pretty funny
We're
because
sensing
in-
a pattern with our streams, Matthew.
What's the pattern?
I don't know a lot about
You
this
don't
game.
research.
I don't research, I
man.
just talk about it.
I just talk about things.
I always liked
Stop.
how wacky the story for Dead Rising 1 starts because all the survivors are all fine inside the mall and they've locked all the zombies out. But one really old woman goes to the front of the mall and she sees her zombie dog on the other side of the locked doors
I
and
thought,
she goes,
I thought it was a cat.
No, it's a small
No,
dog.
it's a dog.
Oh.
And she goes, "Oh, my dog, I have to get it." And she like shoves this like middle-aged man out of the way and opens the door and lets the zombies in.
Gotta get your dog, man.
Dog's
The
important.
dog wasn't even alive anymore. Well, I guess it was alive. It was just zombie dog.
Zombie dog.
No.
I don't know if that counts as being alive. Maybe undead.
Well, normally zombies
Well,
are
this
undead.
is a different zombie strain, isn't it? It's sort of
Right.
like mutated wasps.
Oh my god.
In Dead Rising, there are insects that are that make people zombies, and the queen is a fully mature wasp, and the younger, I guess, what would they be called? I don't want to call them
Larvae?
pawns. Yeah, they're larvae.
Ooh.
And they introduce a mechanic, maybe a quarter of the way in, where you can bottle a queen that emerges from a killed zombie. And if you squash it, all the zombies in the immediate area will die because they're all connected to the queen. And that's pretty interesting.
My understanding of the zombification and everything was that it was a wasp species that was mutated, and they inject eggs into victims through stinging them, of course, and the eggs hatch into parasitic larvae, and the host is killed and then zombified once one of the wasps matures in the brainstem.
Wait. Does that strain of wasp like have anything to do with like human-made virus, or is that like just a mutation?
It's
It was a human mutation. Like,
It was a human mutation.
yeah.
It didn't happen in a laboratory. As you get through the game, you figure out that there's a military base that was trying to figure out how to increase their production of cattle, and they find this insect in the wild, and they realize that it's a parasite, and they think they can use it to increase the cattle production, but it really zombifies them, which would artificially elongate their lives, which is why I guess they did it. But the infection broke out into the public, and that's how it got to the humans.
Man, that got me all excited. I thought it was like the first zombie storyline I've ever seen that didn't have like man-made virus to
Well,
it.
it's not really man-made. They just tried to incorporate it, but they didn't really succeed.
I don't know. Maybe that's all right.
The main villain of the first game is someone who was a native to that island that got infected, and when he
Santa Cabeza.
Yes, Santa Cabeza was the island. I thought you were talking about the person's name,
Password.
Carlito.
Oh no.
Carlito Keys and Isabella Keys came from Santa Cabeza, and they're the ones that, brought the wasp to the Willamette Parkview Mall. And as you, Frank West, go through getting the story, you see that it's a little deeper than just some sort of terrorist group, and that there's a government that's actually trying to spread this. And you spend the game trying to find out the truth. And that's pretty much the plot. Gameplay-wise, you're given 72 in-game hours to get everything accomplished. Whether it's plot missions
A total
or...
day is 2 hours in our time, correct? I apologize for interrupting you.
No, it's fine. I think it might... No, I think it might be longer than 2 hours. I know in case 0, 1 hour outside of the game is 12 hours in the game, but I don't know what the actual conversion is. I think it's definitely longer than 2 hours. That seems a little too short for the entire game.
Well, if you're talking about Case Zero, then yeah,
Well, I mean, it's 2 hours a day.
that's what I was
2 hours a
gonna-
day. So it's
that's what-
6 hours
Oh,
total for the 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
I was confused because you were like, yeah, Case Zero is 1 hour for, or yeah, 1 hour for every 12 hours. I was like, yeah, that's 2 hours a day.
Also, there are different endings. You can just escape the mall in the first 72 hours, but if you go for the true ending, you go into an overtime mode, which puts you into a sort of 4th day to do the last plot mission.
Yeah. I thought that was really, really interesting. They have like 6 different endings
Yeah.
or something like that, and it's pretty crazy. And of course, they have like the best ending is like the canon ending and everything, but you can really play it how you want to.
Right. I really did like trying to go for the achievement where you get every single survivor to live, because some of the AI can be really stupid in the first game. Like, they just get themselves killed.
Just like
Really though,
run
oh,
into
it's
the
so
zombie
bad.
horde.
And having to work around the time constraint for finding and scavenging for different limited resources throughout the game, I really liked how that worked.
Absolutely. And then the whole weapon system too. That was really unique.
Yeah, every weapon had a durability, and after a certain number of uses, it would just break, and you'd have to find something new.
It's pretty neat.
Luckily, though,
It
all
really
the
kept you on your toes.
yeah, all the weapon spawns were static, so if you died and you wanted to start from the very beginning, you would still know reliably where all the good weapons are, and you could use that to help you go through the game faster. I also really liked the drink system. They had a smoothie system where you could combine.
Wait, what?
You go make smoothies,
Yeah.
and then different smoothies have different effects.
Is that like the first aid sprays or whatever? And
It's kind of
Resident
like a
Evil?
first aid spray since they all heal you, but the effects are usually something along the line of making you really fast.
Like faster, stronger, weapon durability increase, something like that.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting to learn what combines into what.
Now that I think about that, though, like the last one you said, it's weird how a smoothie increases
Yeah.
the durability of your weapon.
It's like I swing it in a way that makes it not break more.
Just gives me more smarts.
I really like how, despite being a serious story, there is still a fair amount of silliness in the game. Where you can just customize Frank to look however you want by going into the various clothing stores around the mall.
Yeah, and they were just clothes lying around. It's like they didn't do anything. They just made you look silly.
One thing that I really think defines the game, though, is the sandbox feel to it. Because you really can just go around the mall and just try on different clothes if you really want to and not do any of the objectives.
Yeah, you can just ignore it.
Wow, that's not lazy, but it's weird.
I
You're just
mean-
allowed to do that.
It's about the situation. You're just a freelance journalist. As long as you take pictures, see what's there to see, and survive, you
Then-
basically succeed.
Wow.
You just have to make a story. There was also a really interesting mechanic with the camera that you have, because there's a point system which you use to level up, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, depending on how many zombies are on screen, or the actions the zombies are doing, or even the actions survivors are doing, you would get a rating, and that would give you a certain amount of points.
Yeah. I think there are like 5 different like genres of photos you can take. There's horror, which is like zombies and the graphic gore and everything. There are outtakes, which is humorous events or scenes. Erotica, which
Oh yeah.
is photos of female survivors or zombies, particularly certain areas of a female. Dramatic events such as the survivor's reaction while in the security room or anything like if they see a zombie and how they react. If you get a photo of that. And then there's brutality, which is the deaths of zombies and other characters. So if you take a nice photo of some guy getting eaten by the zombies, you get points for it.
Let's
And-
see.
Oh, do you have something to
No,
say?
I didn't. It
Oh.
was
Another thing that really defines Dead Rising 1 were the various psychos that you encountered and their personalities.
This is the best part of the game to me. It's all the psychos.
Didn't you think it was a really bad game?
Yeah,
Is that really saying much then?
the psychos are awesome.
Oh, okay.
Dude, they're like boss characters kind of that you have to defeat
Right, they're just,
because they've just gone crazy from the zombie apocalypse.
my favorite one is a shopping clerk who is he's dead set on protecting his store from any person or zombie because it's his personal item and he can't let anyone else have any bit of it.
Is it Stephen Chapman?
Possibly.
Possibly. I just know him because he says, "This is my store," and he
that-
just yells and runs at you.
Yeah.
It's Stephen Chapman. That guy looks awesome.
Yeah. Then you kill him. And he's like, clean up on aisle 3.
That sounds super, like, not witty. What's the word? It just sounds like goofy.
It's pretty goofy.
The game has like a really serious storyline and everything, but the way they go about it with the sandbox feel and all of like kind of like Easter eggs they put into it just makes it feel like a silly game.
Right.
What? Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I know there's a 3-day time limit or whatever, but what are the 3 days for again?
What are the 3 days for? It's basically at the end of the 3 days, the military is going to enter and clean up everything.
Oh, okay.
So,
So you're
you're
kind of
So
just
you have
waiting
to,
for the-
You have to survive for 3 days.
and when the military comes, you're like, "Oh, nice," and you
Uh,
get out.
I don't know, like, maybe it's just because I didn't play it, but it kind of the way that you guys talked about the, or Gavin, how he talked about just being able to walk around and try on clothes and having it as a sandbox.
Sure.
It feels like surviving isn't really much of an issue.
It's not hard. Unless you make it hard. Like, going and doing the objectives, it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Most of
You
the,
could just totally dick around for 3 days, but you're not gonna get a good ending or anything like that.
the difficulty mostly comes from keeping the other survivors alive rather than keeping yourself alive.
Because they're stupid. You
That's
go
right,
get
that,
them.
That
and
was
it's like,
mentioned.
Survivor joined, and you walk around. And they're like, "Oh no, zombies!" And it's like, hey, "Well, duh, come on, let's move."
And they're just like, hey, that one has a nice looking coat on. I want to try it on.
Let me try that coat on. And then I don't remember if it was in the first one or not, but you could give them guns or one of your weapons.
You can't give them weapons.
And if they die, it's like
You just lose the
they're
weapon.
like you probably could go pick them up. I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
but they're like swarmed in zombies. It's like, do I really want to go in there for a baseball bat? No, but I just lost that baseball bat. It's like a resource that I just gave up.
Dude, you need that baseball bat though.
Yeah.
It is, rather than a melee weapon, it was really useful to give them guns because, unlike you, who has a limited supply of ammunition, the survivors had infinite ammo.
Oh, that's a really good point. That's a really good point.
So that made
Did they
things a little bit
really?
easier.
That would have made it so much easier to play.
It's
Oh my gosh.
kind of broken, but at the same time, you guys said that they have really terrible AI. I'm not so sure.
The AI
pretty
in the first
pretty
one
bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, man.
I really liked. I think Dead Rising was one of the first games I saw that had a really big scope because other earlier zombie games like Resident Evil, they had zombies, but they were only like 2 or 3 in the room ever at the same time.
There's tons of zombies in this game.
It's just like hordes.
Hordes
Yeah,
of
it's
them.
a real
It's amazing.
horde.
Dude,
Again,
it's
imagine-
giant.
Imagine like the Mall of Georgia on like a really busy day, and all of them are zombies. Every person.
That sounds like not only do I not want to play it, it's just like it makes you think about.
Well, also
it's supposed to feel
it's-
like a
it's-
really
it-
overwhelming
it's
situation.
It's a balance though, because like in Resident Evil, 1 or 2 zombies was like really dangerous.
Isn't that because you had like super low ammunition?
And they
Limited
also-
ammunition, and the zombies won't go down easy. These are pretty easy to kill.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they're
I
just
think
kind of
that's-
like whack
You
off
can
zombies. You're just like
bust through a ton
yeah,
of them really
okay.
easy.
Gotcha.
Alright, I just want to tell you guys some numbers real quick that I was looking at today. In the original Dead Rising, the game system can support up to 800 zombies being on screen at once.
That's awful.
It's pretty
Okay,
fun.
but wait, it gets better. In Dead Rising 2, up to 7,000 zombies can be on screen at the same time.
Kind of already see where you were talking about scope.
Wait till
Connor.
he gets to
And
the
Dead
third.
Rising 3 is 21,000.
Massive.
A lot of zombies.
Dude, this is not like
That really just seems like
your
I
other
don't wanna
zombie
play
games where
it.
you see like 5 in a room. This is
How,
freaking
But the
how
thing
many-
with it though
mob
is
right
as
here.
as the max amount of zombies goes up,
this is
your
the
killing
entire
power also
city.
goes
This
up.
is
Yeah, that's
Like-
what I was hoping for. Like, if there are 21 frigging thousand zombies on screen, I better be able to one shot like each one.
Also-
if you have the right weapon on you, yeah.
Another thing to keep in mind are the numbers Gavin are talking about is at the peak level. It's
Yeah.
not going to be
Yeah, it's
all
not
the
like
time.
it's not all the time. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I really like the sort of scope because it really felt like an overwhelming situation.
Yeah, I don't know the story for Dead Rising 3, so we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there.
Are we done with Dead Rising 1 though, or is there still more to cover?
The only other thing I can think of is that I really like how there's a Mega Man cameo in it.
dude, it's so fantastic.
If you beat the game fast enough, you can start a new game with a Mega Man outfit and a Mega Buster.
You get a Mega Buster gun?
Yeah, you get a Mega Buster gun, and I believe it has infinite ammo, and it completely
Oh,
destroys
man.
all the zombies.
That's fantastic. Someone give me a finished version, like a finished,
A finished
like,
version.
not a
Hey,
finished
give me a
version.
save. With
Yeah,
that
give
on
me a
there.
save with that on there.
It's pretty good.
Like that's what I was talking about earlier though. Like they throw stuff in there just like that.
Yeah, it's just like
And
goofy.
it's just kind of silly at that point, but
Yeah.
it's still a really good game in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really like the sandbox feel to it. It's just different from other zombie games out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I just haven't played like good ones then. It's just like sandbox has never really been my thing. But then again, not many genres of video games are my thing. Very selective. I don't know. Maybe this is okay. It sounds okay.
Is Nintendo a genre?
Nintendo's not a genre. I mean, if it was a genre, it'd be my favorite.
If it was.
If it were, sorry.
Moving on, we'll talk about Case Zero before we talk about 2, because Case Zero is
yeah.
the prequel to 2.
And it came out first.
It's so weird.
So,
It was downloadable content too. It wasn't like you
It
went out and bought
was.
it at GameStop.
I just don't get it. Why would you label it Dead Rising 2 Case Zero when
'Cause
it's DLC?
It's tied to the story of Dead Rising 2.
it uses the same
Yeah.
story and the same mechanics.
It's just so strange.
And if you level up in Case Zero, you keep the level up in Dead Rising 2.
That's
true.
neato.
That's true, yeah.
So it kind of gave everyone a jump start on it.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't mention the leveling system in Dead Rising 1.
Well, we can mention it here, because aren't they the same, you said?
Yes, they do still work the same. As you level up, you have a chance to get a certain ability. And what's good is that if you die or you don't get the ending you want, you can start a new game, but keep your level and all the skills you've earned until you reach the max level.
That brings up a really good question that I had earlier, but we weren't on stream. You told me something earlier, like if you die, you start from the first day.
It gives you 2 options. You can either quit out to the main menu, or you can start a new game with your same level and experience.
What does the quitting to the main menu entail?
You'll
Is that
lose
just-
all your unsaved data, but you can start from your latest saved point.
So you can either
That second option sounds
Like-
really dumb.
you get through
does,
you get
but-
through half the game.
Yeah.
You're max level and everything, and you die, and you're like, "Ugh, I guess I missed a few stuff that I wanted to do. Well, I'll just restart. I'll keep all my upgrades and everything, and I can like get these events that I want done.
That doesn't sound like replayability though. And I mean, it's cool. It's definitely
Well,
a plus that they gave you the option to like choose what you want. Because if it was just like, oh no, you have to start from the beginning of the game. If that was the only thing, I'd be like, no,
Sometimes
That's like-
Nah.
unplayable at that point.
sometimes it's necessary, because if you get like 64 hours into the game and then you realize that you haven't done what you needed to get the ending you want,
Yeah.
even if you die and you go back to that point, you won't have enough time to get what you want, so you'll have to start over anyways.
Okay. I mean, stuff like that makes sense to me. It's just like, yeah, that's all I was saying. It was just like, if they didn't give you the option, it'd be like a really, just like from that right there, I'd be like, I don't care what the gameplay is like. It's a bad game.
Also, the difficulty kind of coincides with your level, because your inventory space is also tied to your level.
Oh, okay, so it like grows
So-
along with you.
Yeah, your first time playing, you'll probably have only 1 or 2 item spots, but as you to hold things.
I guess that's okay. Okay.
Alright. As for the story for Case Zero, you play as Chuck Green, and you're escaping Las Vegas with your daughter, Katie. And basically, Katie's mom got infected and she bites Katie.
No.
But because in Dead Rising 1, you develop a sort of vaccine, it doesn't cure you, but it'll keep you from transforming.
Wait.
It keeps the wasps from killing you.
Okay.
It just holds it off as long as you can take 1 pill a day.
All right. I was confused. I was like, well, what? Because it's not the same main character, right?
No.
All right.
No.
That's why you said vaccine. I'm dumb.
So, you take your infected daughter and you get some Zombrex, which is the vaccine, and you escape in a truck. But you reach a town called Still Creek, which is still inside the initial military zone, and basically someone robs you and they steal your truck. So now you're abandoned in this town, and you have to find a way to get out before the military comes, because they'll probably take your infected daughter away.
And
So
just to put this in a little more perspective, this is roughly 5 years after the events of the initial Dead Rising.
And this stuff's still happening.
Yeah.
yes, because at the end of Dead Rising 1, you realize that someone infected 50 random kids, but they all aren't zombies yet. And the
They're just-
time
They're
Carriers.
orphans.
No, they're not carriers. They're
No.
eventually going to transform, but it's going to be random when it happens.
Right, that's like carriers, kind of. -ish.
Well, a carrier
Yeah.
kind of implies that they're immune, but they're carrying the disease.
Okay, I guess so. But yeah, it's similar.
And
I
they're
think.
spread all across America.
Okay.
And there were 50 orphans that were infected and given to foster parents all across America.
Someone sounds
So
like they
it's
knew what they were doing.
that much harder to find them.
Yeah.
So as you're trying to escape, you're trying to find motorcycle parts to fix a motorcycle and escape. It's pretty straightforward. And it only takes place over 12 in-game hours, which would be 1 hour in real time.
But it's $5, so
$5.
Yeah, it's not expensive, and you get a jump start on Dead Rising too because you keep your level and everything.
That's pretty neat. It's a pretty good idea, I guess.
it's pretty good.
That's all I really have to say about Dead Rising Case Zero. Is there anyone else that has something?
I mean, there isn't a whole lot to say about it, just because of how short it is. And most of the information that we're going to talk about for Dead Rising 2 can apply for Case Zero as well.
Right.
The only thing that I have to like say about that though is like I guess we can move on into, but it's really weird because I heard earlier before stream that 2's mechanics were like identical to 1,
Well, it's
with the exception
it's-
of like a weapon system that they
No
integrated.
photo safe system.
they
Right?
There's
take
no
away
photo
the
system?
camera.
No
Oh,
photo
okay.
system.
Alright, so that actually is a little bit more different than I thought.
But it's very much so the same. They just add things to it.
It's a bigger world as well.
It is bigger.
Bigger scope.
Instead of it being just a mall, it's like a whole small city, right?
It's
Yes.
Yeah.
I
trying to remember what it
I-
was called.
Fortune City.
Fortune City.
yeah,
that was
Fortune
right.
City. I think of it more
It's
as
in
like
Nevada.
the strip rather than the actual city.
It's essentially the strip and what it has.
Right. So in Dead Rising 2, Chuck Green he's participating in a sports game called what? Terror
Terror is reality.
Terror is reality. And he competes to gain money so he can continually buy more Zombrex for Katie. But what happens is the zombies that participate in the Terror is reality get loose. And then he has to survive until basically the military comes in and makes things safe.
Well, it's more than that. He's framed for it.
Oh, that's right, he is framed.
And the whole point of the story is to prove your innocence.
Yeah.
So it's a little less. You're less able to just dick around because you have an objective other than hey, live for a few days.
Yeah,
I guess.
get evidence of a zombie apocalypse or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Gameplay wise, there's a lot more customizability in the clothing options you have because there are a lot more stores. And the weapons are a lot wider in variety, and you can also combine weapons using a craft table to make a whole variety of things.
I like taking a propane tank and putting nails in it, and then like
Oh
you can
my
shoot
gosh,
the
you're
propane tank
evil.
and psh,
Whoa.
It's like a nail grenade. That's
essentially.
disgusting. Yeah, just shrapnel. But it's definitely a really good game. It's still sandbox, just like the original Dead Rising, but a bigger world, which is really really cool. And like you said earlier, they're just kind of expanding on everything and trying to make it better.
Yeah. In the director's cut or director's edition version of Dead Rising 2, they add in an Infinity Mode, which is a true sandbox version where you don't have any time limit and you can just do whatever you want.
Do the objectives still have a time limit?
I don't. I think all the psychos are present in Infinity Mode, but I don't think there are story plot events that happen.
What? Like you said, Infinity?
I'm pretty sure it's called Infinity Mode.
I'm not to like sound like I'm a noob, but pretty much by now everyone knows that I don't research enough. It says on new game features under Dead Rising 2, it says the Infinity Mode from the first game has been removed.
The Infinity Mode. Oh, in the first game, there was a sort of Infinity Mode where the task is that you're supposed to survive, but your health is constantly decreasing, and you need to eat food to stay alive. And
I was just about to bring that up, yeah.
in Dead Rising 2, I guess it might be called something different. It's not Dead Rising 2, it's the director's cut. You play as Frank West instead of Chuck Green. But from a story-wise standpoint, it's generally the same game. And you don't have to deal with the hunger situation that you did in the first game.
Okay. Sorry, I just saw that and I was just like,
No, it was good to clarify.
Yeah, it was good to clarify. I just called it the wrong thing.
okay.
Did Dead Rising 1 have co-op?
No.
Because 2 does.
Yeah, 2 has online co-op. You can just jump into a buddy's playthrough and help him out with the story. It's pretty fun.
You can also play the terrorist reality game.
Right. You could do that to gain money and put it into your solo player campaign.
Right.
So you
It's
gain
pretty-
stuff from like even just competitive stuff?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, we're having fun as friends. It's helping you?
Yeah.
That's neat.
The Terrorist Reality, it was pretty fun. It's just a series of mini games that you do. Most of them are on a motocross bike.
Yeah, it was just who can kill the most zombies.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's just for the money, really. To kind of help you out in game.
Yeah. Dead Rising 2 has a lot more focus on killing zombies in wacky or goofy ways than the first game, because it's your main way of leveling up other than doing story missions.
Is I don't want to put up the wrong picture. Is one of the goofy wacky ways having like the chainsaws on the paddles or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
You-
love
you
that.
can combine weapons, and it's pretty fantastic what you can make.
That thing just looks amazing.
My favorite combination is I think he's called the Freedom Fighter. You attach M60s to a giant robotic teddy bear, and it has the whole Rambo bandana as well, and it just shoots. It acts like a
Fantastic.
sentry.
Yeah.
Is that a Freedom Bear?
I guess that's it. The Freedom Bear.
Yeah. Combining a robot bear with an LMG. Oh my god.
It's pretty
Do you
fun to
guys
play
know
with.
what an LMG is?
It's a
Yeah.
big gun,
It's called a light machine gun.
but it's big.
Nothing is light about it. It's one of the heavier guns out there, and it is made to tear through armor.
So you see a teddy bear with it.
Not just a teddy bear, like this bear is as big as you are.
It's just like taped to his hand.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
great.
Oh man.
Was there any combinations that you guys preferred? Well, I don't think Matt played the game, but
Just from what I see, like I looked around a little bit. The only one that like, I mean, the teddy bear is neat, but the only thing that really stands out to me is just like, and you told me about it earlier, is just like rowing through the crowd of zombies with the
With the
chainsaw.
chainsaw battles.
It's hilarious. It's just like it's goofy. Like no matter how big the scope gets, it seems like they could retain it, but I know for a fact from what we talked about before the stream, it's just like I don't know if that's possible.
There were lots of fun ones. There was like you combine power drill with a bucket.
and then you put the bucket on a zombie's head.
Put the bucket on a zombie's head and it's
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
remember that.
that just sounds so fun to like. All right, because they're still
Or
people. Like they're people.
my favorite. Oh, you
No, go ahead.
go. Excuse me. My raid call was messing up. You talking? You go ahead.
Oh, okay. I could just like imagine it. It's not fun to see people die, even like they're zombies. So I don't know if they're still people, but it's just like I could imagine it. It'd be so funny to watch, like the bucket just on their head and just ramming into other zombies.
There is a what you just said. Like, I don't know if zombies are people. That's like a core thing in this game.
Really?
Dude,
Like,
There's a peace group.
there's a peace group.
are you part of the Citizens for Undead Rights and Equality?
Oh my! This game
Cure.
just became way well.
Citizens
Actually-
for Undead Rights and Equality Cure.
There's still people, Matt.
I mean, they are.
That's-
They're people that want to eat you.
They protest the whole Terror's reality
I
game. Like,
mean-
you're killing people. It's like, we're killing zombies. You're killing
Yeah.
people.
This game just became unplayable.
Really? They're already dead? I don't know.
Yeah.
My favorite weapon, though, is probably the Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
You literally tape a grenade to a football.
You just toss it.
You just toss it.
I like the plate launcher. You get like a cement saw and throw plates on it, and it just shoots the plates out.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like a game. I don't know. I think it's on Steam.
I
The
don't
third
know if
one's
it's
on
been
Steam.
released on Steam.
Okay.
The third one's
Oh.
on Steam, so it might be.
All I was gonna say is just like all these methods, even though the chainsaw still sticks out to me, it's just like a football you throw in and blows up. I don't know. Like, obviously, I wouldn't play it for
I
the
mean-
story. You would play it for the wacky.
Yeah, a lot of the fun comes from discovering the various weapon
more for the wacky.
combinations.
There's also, you can get a hunk of meat, which all the zombies want to eat the meat, right?
Yeah.
Take dynamite to it. You toss it out there, and they're like, oh man, that's some meat. Nom, nom, nom.
It's a pretty good idea.
Another one you can make is a snowball cannon, which is a fire extinguisher and a water gun.
That's so creative. I love it. It says PC. Oh, sweet! It is on Steam. Sweet. Dead Rising 2 on Steam. Buy it now.
It got released. You can play it if you want.
Might have to get that. I've been looking for a game to spend my Steam money on. Like $27 and nothing to spend
Christ,
it on.
really?
Yeah, our friend Miranda gave me $20 for my birthday, and then I had $7 left over from the last time I got a Steam card.
Wow.
Anyway.
If there's nothing you want to buy, then don't buy anything. Just keep the money.
Right,
And
but
wait.
it's already on there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about Steam. We're talking about Dead Rising.
Like the first game, psychos are a pretty big part of the game. They're a little bit more toned down than what the first game had, but they're still there.
I feel like they have more or less personality than the first game. I know
I
you said toned down, but
I feel like there are more of them, but they feel a lot more tame. Like in the second game, there's another store dude he's a chef, and he gets angry
Oh,
at you.
yeah.
He like makes food out of human corpses, and he's like, "You're gonna eat my food," and he like beats you up and shoves food into your mouth, and that's neat. But I don't know. I've never seen a psycho as crazy as the clown psycho from the first game who juggles chainsaws.
Oh my gosh.
Especially
Oh
like
my gosh.
that sounds horrifying.
it is horrifying. He just laughs at you and he throws chainsaws. But even his death, he's really creepy because he falls on his chainsaws, and as he's getting cut, he just is laughing maniacally. And it was a scene. But a lot of the psychos feel a lot more tragic in the second game. Like, oh, that guy was an upstanding member of society, but he went crazy.
You think that's part of the entire like cure thing, or is that just like? Do you think that
No.
was just like?
Some of the psychos are part of Cure, but most of them are independent.
Well, I mean, you said it was like tragic, so like, it's just weird. Like, do you think that was coincidental, or do you think they did that on purpose?
I would say it's more coincidental,
That like,
but maybe there was a lot more thought put into it than I think there is.
I think that it was more on purpose, honestly. with the whole Psychos thing and what they were doing there.
Yeah.
Initial Outbreak, and I'll use the clown one as an example. They're trapped in the mall, surrounded by zombies, and he's just gone crazy. And I mean that's kind of tragic when you think about it, like deeper and everything. It's more horrific when you just see it. But it's 5 years later. Zombies are still a thing, and there's even a game show for it. And these people are just losing their minds. And I think at that point they're trying to show like I don't even know if I call it a zombie apocalypse because it doesn't that severe, but it's definitely getting there. I'll call it that for lack of a better term right now, but like it just kind of shows how the zombie apocalypse is wearing on everyone's minds.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. Like, I haven't played it or whatever. I saw like maybe 2 minutes of gameplay. It just sounds like 2 seems more thought out in that aspect than 1 did. And maybe it was coincidence, but it definitely sounds like it was on purpose.
I don't think it was that 2 was more thought out.
Are you there?
Gavin?
I can't hear you.
We'll never know what happened. Raid, please. Anyway,
Technical difficulties.
not responding. No!
Oh,
Cancel. Are you still there? Oh, well, raid's closed. While we get Gavin back, we're gonna talk about more stuff. Someone go.
someone go.
Gibson, you're leading, so go.
They added vehicles in Dead Rising 2, and that was really fun. There was also a money system for unlocking items, and basically that's really the only thing that money was ever used for. Also, you could use it to buy Zombrex, because you had to make sure Katie could survive until the government showed up.
But you could always find it regularly.
Yeah, it's not too hard to find.
Like, you only need 3 for the plot, and I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 just out in the world.
Yeah,
But there's a shop that has them, so you can just buy.
although they're pretty expensive.
They are very expensive.
But the vehicles, you can get the motocross bike, you can get a Hummer, you can get a sports car, and you can get like a Harley. And the DLC adds another vehicle, I believe. A helicopter, I think. And that's neat. And once you use it, it's a really reliable way of traversing the mall, or not just the mall, like the casino and everything. It's pretty interesting. I remember there being a lot more loading screens in Dead Rising 2, but that's mainly because it was a bigger game.
Yeah. I remember there was only really loading screens in the first one if you went through a door.
Right.
Like, oh, you're going from inside the mall to outside the mall. I think that was actually the only one, from inside the mall to outside the mall.
There's...
Or before a cutscene.
I think there are 3 areas. There's inside the mall, outside the mall, and underground tunnels.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the underground tunnels.
But other than those 3 areas, everything is pretty much connected.
I think that's a really, really good mechanic for the game, honestly.
It is.
Because that's something that they did with Dead Rising 3 as well. Just so you know, Matthew, Dead Rising 3 is bigger than both Dead Rising 1 and 2 combined.
That's what I've been told by Connor before stream. Like, he was just like, "Oh, it seems to be like a theme that we've been doing with these. It's just like the scope just gets way too out of hand. The scale.
It's massive.
The thing is, there's no loading screens.
Yeah, the
It's
third
just
one.
one giant world you're in.
The
But-
third one has no loading screens.
That's part of the upgrade in hardware, because it was an opening title for the Xbox One.
Okay,
Yes.
that
That's
makes a
a
lot
good
of sense. Then.
point to make.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
In Dead Rising 3, they also adjust the bigger map for a
Oh.
bigger time span.
We're talking about Dead Rising 3 now.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about that. Just
Gotta
kind of
change
got
the
in here.
Just gotta change the picture.
But as
Do
the
that
map got
segue
bigger,
though.
we went from having a 3-day time limit to a 6-day time limit.
Oh no.
But
I
it's
mean, you kind of
appropriate.
need it
Yeah, I know. You upgrade
with a
scale.
world
You gotta.
that big.
Yeah, if you go big or go home, or raise the time limit.
I guess if there was a
They
game
also
to make the
introduced
scale big,
vehicles.
it would be this.
It's kind of more for end talk discussion, but like, do you feel like this is one of the series that did it well, or is it like one of those that still is just like, I kind of didn't like seeing it happen?
I think it did itself pretty well that it made itself this big because that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah, I feel
That,
like
that really is the point of the game, to be an open sandbox and just have a huge world filled with 21,000 zombies on screen.
Jeez, it's ridiculous.
But you know what's even better than that?
What?
All those zombies are unique.
all those
oh
zombies
my
do
god.
what?
They're all
Are
randomly
unique.
generated. They're all unique.
Oh yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So it's 21,000 different zombies.
Sweet. I mean, that's still like peak, but that still means all of them are randomly like, yeah.
You won't see two of the same.
That's
Right.
awesome.
It
Well, I
definitely-
mean, you could
You could see
see
two,
two of the same. It's just the likeliness of the RNG is really low.
Right, yeah.
21,000. And that's peak, right? That's not
Right.
all the time. What do you think? What would you? I don't expect you to know numbers off the top of your head, but like, what do you think average is?
Average, I'd say, considering how it's a lot bigger and there are no loading screens, I would expect anywhere between 200 and 400 on the screen at one time. Even that's probably even too small. It really depends. Like, if you're in an indoor area, there aren't going to be as much zombies as if you were like on the street.
So, wait. So even like going indoors, because now that you said that, you got me curious. Even going indoors doesn't have loading screens.
No.
No.
It's really
No
strange.
loading screens.
I guess
Why,
everything.
why
would
is that
feel-
strange?
I don't know, because I'm so used to like
All
hard-
games should be this way. There should be no loading screens ever.
Okay, maybe not. It wouldn't break immersion as much. That's what I was getting to. Thanks.
Yeah, loading screens mainly happen as a limitation in the hardware.
Yeah, and I understand that. It's just like
Yeah.
I forgot it was Xbox One, which I mean, if it's Xbox One, then I guess that would make sense. There being no loading screens. It's a relic of the past.
For another few years until we hit the limitations of this hardware.
You know, you're right. We're all gonna be.
I just
Or
can't
when
wait till
we're
we can get
playing
100,000
not just like
zombies.
an entire state, but in the entire world.
Please let's not.
Could
go
you
into
imagine
space.
Dead Rising set across the entire world?
Please
Oh,
let's.
dude.
Dude, imagine no
That would be
loading
cool,
screens
too.
on it.
Imagine no loading screens across the entire world.
Instead of survivors, it'd just be MMO.
I-
You'd have everyone working in the same game.
Turns out there's way more regular people than there are zombies.
It'd be like the ultimate game of like, I don't know, like we had the zombie survivor game or whatever at Mountain View. And it's like, I don't know what it was, but it's like maybe not zombies. Oh yeah, it was like you wore like bands or something, like wristbands or some
Sure.
crap like that, or something signifying that you were a zombie. And if you got like tagged or something, you became a zombie. It was something like that.
That sounds interesting.
I
We
don't
did it
remember.
at Mountain View?
It was either a Mountain View or Mill Creek. I don't remember. I heard about it though, and I saw it being done, but it was like
North Georgia does something like that.
maybe it was a school.
Yeah, I know at North Georgia, like, they'll have a week set out where zombies will, like, wear kind of thing, like a bandana tied around their bicep to signify that
That might have been it.
they're a zombie.
Yeah.
I think survivors
That's-
have it, like, tied around their forehead instead.
That's just like the point I was gonna try to
Survivors
get
will
across.
get socks and ball them up, and if they hit a zombie with a sock, the zombie can't until like they're in a different area.
All
It
right,
sounds
maybe,
like a really fun permutation of tag.
maybe socks weren't what I was trying to get
And-
across, but like, yeah, especially
I
just like the scale. Or
No
whatever.
idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about like because Gibson was just like eventually it's just gonna be one big multiplayer experience. It's like that actually would be, at least in my opinion, really cool to see. Like if that were I mean, it would suck that you always had to be online, but the plus to it would be like there'd be so much replayability. Like, if you died or whatever, you just became a zombie. There's new ways to explore, and there's new ways to like go about playing the game. That'd be so cool.
That'd be interesting, but I also
I think
feel it
you'd
would
still have to
kind
have
of-
servers.
That's true.
Yeah, there's also the servers. I think it kind of lose the focus of what Dead Rising was or is, but it's definitely an interesting way they could branch off.
Yeah. Was there anything like other than the scale? Was there anything super giant that they added to Dead Rising 3?
Vehicles.
The
Vehicles.
second one had vehicles. Are there more? Is it just more vehicles?
What type of vehicles?
This one you can like combine vehicles and everything, just
Well,
like the
that-
What's
weapons.
with combining?
Combined vehicles?
That sounds kind of different.
Let's make my
Yeah.
SUV Hummer limo.
Yeah, you have combo vehicles and everything. Let me see if I can pull a couple up. Because I'm on the wiki right now.
Sure.
Oh, I should be on the. I'm on the wiki. I just didn't think about it.
Oh my goodness.
What I want to see.
It's like a shock dozer.
What?
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Or like,
Combine an
It's pretty
ambulance
crazy,
with a
yeah.
backhoe.
my favorite is the roller hog. It's a steamroller and a motorcycle.
What the heck is this?
It sounds pretty awesome.
It sounds awful.
Sounds
What-
amazing.
What do you not like
Imagine
about
how
this?
many-
I don't know. It's like
Imagine
I mean,
how many
combining
of the
weapons
zombies you
was
could
like.
kill.
Combining weapons was neat because it was just like, oh look, he has chainsaws on on an oar. That's neat. But like, combining vehicles, like I don't know. Maybe it's definitely different because when you pulled up the photo, it was like, oh, that's not what I thought. But thinking about it, it's just like, oh, you taped two vehicles together with duct tape.
Yeah, I definitely like how, no, not scrappy it is. I just liked how simple it looks like in the second game,
Mhm.
where really all it was duct tape
Yeah, exactly.
combining two different things.
I feel like that's what
Yeah.
made it so wacky. In this, it sounds like it. I mean, that's not to say you wouldn't need effort to survive a zombie apocalypse and make something change.
It
but
seems
it's
like if you wanted to combine an ambulance with a backhoe, it might take you a little longer than a few days.
that's what I'm saying. It's not just like oh, I'm gonna combine an ambulance with I don't know what that is. but
Backhoe.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean,
But
it's the thing with that on it.
oh, okay. But like you combine them, and it takes you like 5 seconds in game, but in reality that would take way longer because you're not a mechanic.
Well,
It-
even if you were.
It would still take time.
It would be interesting if they added a time mechanic where after combining
my gosh.
vehicles, a certain number of hours passed.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be intense.
It would definitely make
I mean-
things at least more interesting, I feel.
Whole part of exploration, because you're navigating an entire city,
Right.
and it again is bigger than both the first and second games combined. So it's like you need the vehicles to get around, and I think they just kind of threw in the same weapon system they had with the vehicles to make it that kind of wacky, fun adventure that they've had going for them.
Yeah, maybe it's like nitpicky, but it just feels like you lose something with that. Because in real life, it's like
You think it breaks the immersion a
Oh.
little?
I think at least slightly, if not more than that. Like, especially for me.
I
That's
mean,
why. That's
just-
why I said more. Sorry. Go ahead.
Just so you know, the main character is Nick Ramos, and he is a young mechanic.
All right, that makes it a little more believable.
It does help.
It definitely would help me with my immersion problem. I could still be nitpicky about it, be like, oh, this takes more time, but if
Nitpicky?
nitpicky. Oh,
No,
I
it-
see. You weren't correcting me. You were just making it funny.
It was a funny though. You said so.
So I wonder if there's a Dead Rising 4 and they increase the amount of things you could combine, if it's eventually going to turn into sort of Katamari Damacy sort of.
You could already do take a combo item and then add something else to it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think he means like
It's just
a
like
building's
how
gonna
far-
start walking.
How far can we go in this sort of combining
This
chain?
isn't Gurren Lagann.
Dude, can we make like Optimus Prime?
Oh man, mechs battling zombies. Like all the zombies just
What
like
if
get
the
on each other's
zombies
back.
commandeered one?
Whoa,
Dude.
calm down.
I don't want them to get that smart.
Something that did bother me was that they added weapon wielding zombies in Dead Rising 3, which hasn't existed yet. Like if you found a policeman zombie in 1 or 2, he would be in police form in a police outfit, and he would have a gun in the holster, but he wouldn't use it. But this
He's a
game
zombie.
has knife wielding zombies and gun wielding zombies, and that just seems really weird to me.
That seems strange.
I don't know why every single zombie game gets to a point where they're like, let's make our zombies human but call them zombies.
Well, I mean, they are technically, that's, I guess, a similar argument to earlier. They are human, they're just in a different mindset, and the mindset is eat
They are
everything.
dead.
Yeah, how much
They are dead.
how much intelligence can a dead body show?
Apparently enough to wield a gun or a knife.
Enough to aim and pull the trigger.
That's what I'm saying, like, that would break immersion for me, too. I don't get that. Like, if they are dead and they're not human anymore, then how come they're able to wield stuff like that and use them, like, capably?
I think as far as immersion goes, the furthest I was able to believe it was the cart pushing zombies, because I can imagine someone dying while holding a cart,
Yeah.
and then their grip just still being there after the
Yeah.
dead.
I could
They
imagine
would
Rigor
that.
just be
mortis,
pushing it
yeah.
around.
I could definitely imagine that.
I could see it with a knife too if they died, like, like
Holding
killing
it.
zombies and were holding a knife,
I guess
and the
so.
rigor mortis sets in. But I don't think that they would be
It's like pick up-
knowledgeable enough to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're swinging their arms around one thing, but I don't think they could be like, "Oh, I'm gonna shank you," kind of stuff.
The zombie comes up to me, he's like, give me your lunch money, nerd.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, doesn't seem too bad, I guess. Like, the mechanic thing helps with building vehicles, and I guess if I really stretched my imagination, I could imagine someone fighting off zombies and dying with a knife in their hand, like Gavin said.
Yeah.
So the immersion seems like it would still be there, and no loading screens would definitely aid that.
Since for the most part you're saying this doesn't really sound like a game you'd be into, what would they have to add or...
Since the beginning of the stream, I've definitely changed my mind. Like, when we hit Dead
Oh.
Rising 2 and you guys, I saw more of the combining items, like, I'm seriously considering buying this.
Oh, okay, because I was going to ask what
Dude.
could they add or diminish in the next
Um,
game that would make it more appealing.
I don't think they could add anything more because the scale already seems super
I
huge
feel like
in
there's
3.
nowhere to go but up. Especially
You gotta-
considering the theming of Dead Rising.
You really just gotta keep going up. There's nowhere else to go. Space.
Dude, like you're gonna have boats and stuff. You're gonna be able to combine
Across
them
the
together.
ocean.
Zombie
You're
like
gonna go to like
sharks.
Europe.
Zombie sharks! The wasps got to this. No.
The wasps got to the sharks. Not our sharks, no.
No. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess you could only go up, and maybe that'll turn me away. But I'm only one person. I mean, they don't care about me.
Well, still, it's about preference. What
Everyone
would
is
you like
only
to
one
see?
person.
What would you like to see?
That's what I was saying. Like, there's nothing they could probably add that would pique my interest more.
What could they refine?
They could refine, like I said, like the nitpicky stuff. It was just like, it really at that point, like that's what I'm saying. Like 2 and 3 sound really fantastic in the fact that it's so wacky, even though the theme is just like, oh, these people are dead. Oh, there's a giant freaking, is it pandemic or epidemic? I always get those mixed up.
I think it's only in North America at the moment.
Pandemic is specific to a region, right?
No.
Okay. Well then 7. Either way.
Prevalent over a whole country or the world is pandemic.
Okay. Well,
So even if it is over all of North America, it would
Yeah.
still be pandemic.
yeah. Well, whatever it is, it's just like, even that, it's just like, the theme feels like it should be, oh man, this is really scary. But instead, it just seems like a slaughterhouse, and that just makes, like, the irony all the better. Like, it just feels wacky and fun from what we're even talking
You
about.
pretty much got it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
got
li-
it right.
I like that sort of. I don't know. It's so weird too because like we talked about Resident Evil, and I was just like, when you're killing zombies in Resident Evil 4, it's just like, I mean, I'm still scared and stuff, but that was the best I felt killing zombies, and like it was the most satisfying. I felt like I was doing something in 4. 4 seemed like the peak, and it's just like it feels like all of these games could be the peak. It's really cool how all of them sound like they have really just solid gameplay.
If you want to really have fun, you gotta get the Super Ultra Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha.
man.
Is
That
that a
was
thing?
announced in the most recent E3, and it's a DLC content. It's a whole lot more.
DLC content.
DLC content?
Continue.
I believe.
It's DLC where you have like a character select from a ton of different Capcom media, like Street Fighter,
Oh my
Darkstalkers,
No way.
Dino Crisis. I think there's a Resident Evil character.
And you can use their abilities from their games.
Final
Sweet.
Fight. You know Mike Hagler.
I think.
You could play as Mike Hagler.
Can you play as what's his name? Is it Ryu?
Probably.
Yeah, you can.
And you and
There's also a
Hadouken.
Samus character, isn't there?
There's a what?
I believe there was a Samus character.
I don't know.
I
if
don't
there
think
was.
so.
no,
I don't think there
never
would be.
mind.
Like, remember what he's saying about the Mega Man thing, where
Ye-
you
yeah.
get a little Buster can. Imagine that, but a whole DLC with a billion different.
Wait, I think I have a
characters,
picture of that. I think this is from 3, but I
good
don't
amount of
know.
characters.
Here, I'll put it on screen. See if this is from 3. Come here real quick. Connor.
I put them all in order for you.
I'm gonna go with yes.
I think that one looks like it's from 3. Yeah, I know you did, but when I put them in OBS, it definitely got out of order because me.
Because
So many pictures. We only use a couple.
I know.
But yeah, like it just sounds so cool. Oh man, if it's not too expensive, I'm gonna buy it. Maybe I'll just wait until winter sale. It's probably the best idea
Okay.
to wait.
It's definitely more of a wacky game rather than serious.
I definitely would not play this for the
for the story.
for the story. There's like
We haven't even talked about the story of Dead Rising 3, though.
oh, you're right.
No, not really.
What's the story for Dead Rising 3, Mr. Leader?
Well, in Dead Rising 3, you're in the city of Los Perdidos, and you know in 6 days the government is going to bomb the city. So, you and your co-workers at a auto shop basically are trying to find a way to escape the city, and you find a plane in a museum, and you're like, we could use that to fly away.
I just want to note that this is 10 years after Dead Rising 2, so 15 years after the initial Dead Rising.
Right.
Why is this crap still going on? I thought we found a cure for this.
No.
No, it's a vaccine that stops
It
the...
stifles the symptoms for a day.
Oh.
So basically, you have the bug in you, but the medicine keeps
That's
the bug
right.
from growing up,
Killing
reaching
you.
its full stage.
Yeah. So is it just like they literally couldn't make enough of that for everybody then?
It's not that they couldn't make
It's
enough.
being mass-produced and sold.
Right.
It's really weird.
The problem is that it was only
It's
a
not
temporary
free.
solution,
Temporary.
and
Oh, that's true.
it's not free. And actually, finding a cure is a big part of the third game, because you find out that one of your members, Nick. Oh wait, yeah, Nick, you the
I
character.
was wondering, I was like, aren't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, one of your members, you mean the person you're playing, right?
Right, the person you're playing is actually immune. And somebody from the background started the infection so that the one person who is immune comes forward.
The reason why they knew someone was immune, though, was because one of the 50 orphans from the first game, it was specifically number 12, was made immune by the terrorists that started the outbreak initially. So they were trying to weed him out and find out where he was and have a zombie outbreak make him realize that he is immune and that he's the cure.
So as you work your way towards fixing up this plane, you come back into contact with Chuck Green from the second game, because basically one of the characters, Gary, is working for Chuck, because Chuck's lost his daughter and he's trying to reconnect with her. And while he's doing that, Isabella from the first game is also working to try to find number 12, which is you. And after you escape the city with Isabella, you're basically trying to, not trying to, but you end off on a note of you're going to make the cure. So I don't know from a story point where a fourth game would happen or work.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like it's like the end of the line. I mean,
Yeah, although even though it's a cure, I don't think it cures people who are already dead.
yeah, I guess that would make sense to not.
It makes you immune to it. Yeah.
So there would still be a problem of getting rid of all the currently existing zombies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can exactly revive the dead.
Yet. We're getting there, Gavin. We're
Getting
getting there.
Oh my gosh, let's not.
Maybe that'll be the plot for the fourth game.
Plot for the fourth one is bring
No.
everyone back to life.
I'd be so
Play
done.
God.
But yeah, that's
I'd be
basically my
so
understanding of the third game. Any final thoughts?
Connor, you go first. Wait, are you talking about? Are we doing?
Like final thoughts on the series?
Okay, so we are doing that now.
Yeah,
I didn't remember what it's called.
Keep going up.
keep going up.
Bigger, better, if at all.
As in up, you mean like
Please,
space,
no,
right?
I said
Space.
space
I
like
mean, that's
4
what's
times
up,
during this,
right?
and I was just like, let's
Zombies.
not do that.
Sounds right to me.
I really.
Dude, we can have zombies flying around in space.
With little space helmets, it
You
looks so
can
cute.
combine your spaceships together.
Oh boy.
Super Tangen Tough. No, that was a bad joke. Anyway,
Dude,
Bad joke.
eventually it's gonna be like Gurren Lagann.
That's
with
what I was
all the
saying!
different mechs.
That is what he said.
Oh.
No, he said bad
I
joke.
know.
What if you get zombie mechs?
zombie Max.
Oh my goodness, please.
I think it should be like what Matthew was saying, where the zombies just like form together and like grab a hold of each other to like make this giant
Oh,
zombie
goodness.
creature.
Yeah, like on land, they just get on top of each other's back and see how long they can stay up.
That'd be way too wacky for me.
Oh man, that seems.
I mean, honestly though, like if you're in a zombie apocalyptic situation and you see a bunch of zombies do that, what do you do? Man, at that point, I just sit down and be like, "You guys win. I can't beat that."
Let me just null, not null. Oh, God. Let me just like make it to where I can't feel anything. And you guys just eat me. It's fine. I lose. It's done. It's over.
GG.
GG. Go zombies. I mean, pretty much what Connor said for me. Well, no, not really. I mean, refining things, make the things that you already made in 3 better than what you did. Like, if there was a 4, make the things from 3 even better. But I don't know with scale what you would do. I definitely don't know what would happen.
I imagine that if they move up from a city, it's either going to be an entire county or maybe even like an entire state.
Well, this is like a small city, right?
Yeah.
You go up to like New York.
Oh, a bigger city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Because I
if
mean,
we do, like,
Fortune
Manhattan.
City was the city.
Manhattan would be pretty alright. Yeah, I just
I
don't
mean,
want
the
it
Spider-Man
to be.
games like are pretty sandbox and in Manhattan, and that's not
Yeah,
too bad. But I mean, you're Spider-Man, so you can get around really fast.
yeah, you get around really quick.
Dude, just use the shock dozer. Get anywhere in no time.
What I really don't want is like, we joked about it with Resident Evil, and we were just like, oh, the next one's gonna be in a spacecraft, and it's just like, all right, haha, that would fit Resident Evil, but like, if we were going to space or if we were going across like the ocean or something, I really do feel like you would lose sight of what Dead Rising is about, like that kind of wacky feeling. I don't know how you. would keep-
It depends on if they do it. Like,
That's what I'm saying, but like it would be at that point it'd be all in the execution. Like I want the wacky to stay there. That's the only reason I'd play the game. That's the only reason I'm thinking about playing the game. If you change that, it doesn't happen anymore.
I'm pretty sure they'll keep the wacky even if it's on a global scale.
That's what I'm saying. Like it'd be so hard to. I don't know how they'd accomplish that.
Dude, like they would do it.
they got it.
I guess so. 'Cause,
I mean, I think they should consider doing stuff like Bioshock, like maybe underwater cities or some city just floating in the air.
Dude, I totally want to see a zombie like with strings and a balloon attached to its back and just have it float around.
Like, rah, rah.
Is this like
You're
Tingle
good.
up in here?
Tingle. Oh man.
That'd be pretty funny.
Does anyone else have anything to say?
Not me.
I'm pretty satisfied.
I'm satisfied with what they're doing. I really like the sandbox feel for the game, and they've been expanding on that and the weapon system and everything. I think they're going down a good path.
Alright. Well, I think that'll be it. This was Table for Four, provided to you by Brandon,
Connor?
Matthew.
And Gavin.
and thanks for watching.